Shuichi and Kokichi had been together for only a couple of weeks, and Kokichi was getting way too good at making Shuichi hella flustered. Every day the detective tried to hang out with Kaito or was just walking to the dining hall. Kokichi would always run towards him and pull him into a hug. Depending on what side he came from, he would hug him from behind, in the front, the side, and even sometimes his arms or legs. Shuichi loved Kokichi and liked being around him and secretly liked all the attention he was getting, although he would never tell him. He was kind of getting slightly irritated that Kokichi could make him blush by this, make him super embarrassed in front of other people. Shuichi was walking to the dining hall and didn't get tackled by Kokichi for the first time in weeks, making him feel a little lonely. He shrugged it off and walked into the dining hall. He saw Kaito wave him over to where he was sitting with Maki. He looked around the room, still seeing no Kokichi. He sat down and Kurumi brought them some food, and they ate together while Kaito would talk about whatever he was talking about. Shuichi never really believed any of the stories Kaito told him, and he could tell Maki didn't either. While they were eating, Shuichi never got interrupted by Kokichi coming and hugging him or dragging him away. He could feel the feeling of loneliness grow, and he could see Kaito and Maki also off-put by the lack of distractions. When they finished eating, Shuichi waved goodbye and walked over to the dorms to try and find Kokichi. He was starting to worry where the hell his boyfriend could be. He didn't think he was doing something bad. It was more he needed to know that he was okay to put himself at ease. While he was walking to the dorms, the feeling of loneliness only grew. This made his shoulders slouch. He wondered where he could be and why he wasn't here with him. He slowly walked into the dorms, feeling like some unseen weight was dragging him down. He sighed and walked up to Kokichi's dorm room and knocked on the door. He waited for a long time before the feeling became too much, and he took out Kokichi's key out of his pocket and unlocked the door. He threw it open to find no Kokichi. Shuichi already felt on edge since this morning, and seeing that he couldn't find Kokichi, he broke down. He had tears falling down his face as he walked over to Kokichi's bed, grabbing his pillow, snuggling into it, taking in the scent. The feeling of loneliness consumed him, and he cried in there for who knows how long. After a while of crying, he closed his eyes with small sniffles, and he hugged the pillow tighter.
Shuichi?
Kokichi asked, walking into the room, seeing the detective on his bed hugging his pillow. Shuichi looked up over his shoulder, and seeing Kokichi, he ran over to him and pulled him into a hug, crying again. Shuichi felt lonely before he and Kokichi got together, but after getting all the affection he got from Kokichi, he got paranoid that when he didn't get that from Kokichi, he would be lonely again.
What happened?
Kokichi said slowly, rubbing circles into his back, quietly whispering reassurances into his ear.
Where were you?
Shuichi asked shakily, making Kokichi realize what was going on.
Were you lonely because I was gone?
Kokichi asked in a serious tone, moving one of his hands to his cheeks, caressing the soft skin there that was covered in tears.
Yes.
Shuichi said, quietly embarrassed of his reason for acting out. Shuichi slowly looked up at Kokichi with a worried glance. Kokichi smiled at him and pulled him into a quick kiss before he hugged him again, nuzzling his face into his chest, smothering Shuichi with affection.
I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Gonta wanted me to help him in his lab on the way back, and Maki pulled me to the side asking me if I did anything to you. After a while of telling her I had no idea why you were acting differently, she finally let me go. After that I went to your dorm, then I heard your sobs coming from mine. It broke my heart knowing that while I was gone you were lonely. So I walked into my dorm to see you crying and holding onto my pillow like it was a lifeline.
Kokichi said. He sounded guilty for his actions.
I'm sorry, I should have told you, Shuichi,
Kokichi said, moving his hands up to his shoulders to rub them, to calm him down. Shuichi didn't say anything because he was still flustered and hiccuping from all the crying.
It's okay. Just next time tell me beforehand. Although I don't say it much, I do like it when you give me all the attention you do.
Shuichi said under his breath with a sigh. Kokishi's eyes widened upon hearing this. He thought Shuichi hated it when he was always making others look at Shuichi because he was running up to him and making sure they knew Shuichi was his.
Oh, I had no idea,
Kokichi said, still in awe from how amazing Shuichi was. He smiled adoringly at Shuichi, blushing seeing how cute and clingy his beloved was being. Shuichi stayed silent. Only the sound of his quiet hiccups and sniffles could be heard. Kokichi just held him, wanting to make up for how lonely he made him feel. Shuichi held Kokichi tight, almost as if he could disappear if he let him go. Kokichi smiled and rubbed Shuichi's back and shoulders, moving his hands up and then back down, making Shuichi not tense anymore. Kokichi did this to let him know he was safe, and he could relax. Shuichi contently sighed and let himself relax under Kokichi's touch.